Hey everyone, good to see you today. There's a really important date coming up that a lot of people don't even realize is such a big deal, and that's October 15th. It might seem like just another day on the calendar, but for the 67 million Americans who rely on Social Security, this is the day the government announces the new changes that affect monthly benefits, taxes, and retirement rules. And here's something that might surprise you. Early estimates suggest this year's update could mean about $54 extra a month for the average retiree, but a lot of that could get eaten up by rising Medicare premiums. So yeah, what looks like a raise on paper might not feel like one in real life. Stick around because by the end of this, you'll understand exactly what's expected, why it matters, and what you can do to prepare. Before we get into all of that, let me ask you something. Do you think these yearly Social Security changes actually make life easier? Or does it feel like you're always falling behind no matter what? Drop your thoughts in the comments. I'd love to hear your perspective. And while you're here, don't forget to hit subscribe. It helps you stay informed and it helps this community grow. Now let's start with the change most people watch for every October. The Cost of Living Adjustment, or COA. This is the annual increase to benefits that's supposed to keep up with inflation for 2026. Experts are projecting about a 2.7% increase, though the official number won't be released until October 15th. That works out to roughly $54 more per month for the average retiree, or about $650 over the course of a year if the projections hold. Sound good, right? But here's the catch. Medicare Part B premiums are also projected to rise by over 11%, going up to about $26.50 a month. That increase alone would take back almost 40% of the COA. So what feels like a raise might only leave you with an extra $32 or so in your pocket. And that's the bigger story here. Many seniors feel like these adjustments don't actually match the real cost they face. Why? Because the formula that decides the COA is based on something called the CPIW, which tracks urban wage earners, not retirees. Retirees spend more on healthcare, housing, and utilities, which are exactly the areas seeing the biggest price jumps. For example, medical care services have gone up by about 4.2% this year, much higher than the COLA. So even with a raise, your buying power still slips. Another big change tied to October 15th is about retirement age. This one doesn't grab as many headlines, but it's important. Back in 1983, Congress passed a law that gradually raised the full retirement age from 65 to 67. In 2026, that phase-in will finally be complete. That means if you were born in 1960 or later, your full retirement age is officially 67. And here's why that matters. If you claim benefits early at 62, the reduction is even steeper now. You'll permanently lose a bigger chunk of your monthly check compared to someone whose full retirement age was 65. On the flip side, delaying benefits past 67 will give you an extra 8% per year until age 70. So timing becomes more critical than ever. And speaking of timing, another area to keep an eye on is the wage cap for Social Security taxes. Right now in 2025, income up to $176,100 is taxed for Social Security. Early projections suggest that in 2026 that cap will go up to about $183,600. If you're a higher earner, that would mean more of your paycheck being taxed, adding about $465 in extra Social Security taxes for the year. For most people, this doesn't affect take-home pay. But for folks at the top end, it's something to note. Also tied to working in benefits is the earnings test. If you start Social Security before your full retirement age, you're limited in how much you can earn from work before it starts cutting into your benefits. For 2026, the thresholds are expected to rise. For those under full retirement age, it's projected to be around $24,360 a year, up from $23,400. If you're reaching full retirement age in 2026, the limit is expected to be around $64,800 with the same benefit reduction rules applying. After you hit full retirement age, there are no limits at all, and any benefits you lost before get recalculated, so they're not gone forever. Now let's talk about something a lot of people don't always think about: work credits. To qualify for Social Security, you need 40 work credits, which is usually about 10 years of work. In 2025, one credit equals $1,810 in earnings. That number is expected to rise in 2026, though the exact dollar figure hasn't been announced yet. For full-time workers, this isn't a problem. But for part-time workers, gig workers, or anyone with an inconsistent job history, this can be a hurdle. If you don't get enough credits, you won't qualify for retirement benefits at all. That's why it's so important for younger workers to pay attention to these updates, even if retirement feels far away. Now here's the heavier part of the story, the Social Security Trust Fund itself. According to the most recent trustees report, the combined trust funds could run out by 2033. That's only 7 years away from the 2026 update. If nothing changes across the board, benefit cuts of about 23% could kick in. To put that in real terms, that means almost a quarter of your check would disappear. Imagine depending on $2,000 a month and suddenly only getting $1,540. That's the kind of reality we're talking about. This is where the politics come in. President Donald Trump's administration has been focusing on efficiency audits through the Department of Government Efficiency or DOGE, trying to streamline how the Social Security Administration runs. The new commissioner, Frank Bignano, is aiming to modernize systems and reduce waste. Supporters say this will help stretch the program further. Critics argue that it doesn't address the bigger funding gap. At the same time, policies like the senior deduction in the recent One Big Beautiful Bill reduce taxable income for retirees, which helps households now, but also lowers revenue for the trust fund. So what does all this mean for you right now? It means October 15th is the day to really pay attention, not just to see how much more money is in your check, but to think about your overall plan. Will rising Medicare premiums eat up most of your race? Should you rethink when to claim benefits given the new retirement age rules? Are you working part-time and not building enough credits? These are the kinds of questions worth asking. And you know what's weird? We often hear people say Social Security will be gone by the time younger generations retire. That's not really accurate. Even if the trust fund runs dry, payroll taxes will still cover about 77% of benefits. It's not nothing, but it's not the full promise either. The gap has to be fixed somehow, either by raising taxes, cutting benefits, or a mix of both. And that's where the uncertainty lies. Another thing to think about is how Social Security fits into your bigger financial picture. Relying only on it might leave you vulnerable, especially with these projected cuts. Some experts suggest that future retirees could need to save an additional $150,000 or more to offset potential reductions for Gen X. That could mean setting aside an extra $700 a month starting now just to make up for what might be lost. That's a tough pill to swallow, but it shows why planning ahead is so important. So then, as October 15th comes around, make sure you check the official Social Security website for updates. They'll release the final numbers once the September inflation data is out. That's the most direct way to see what applies to you. And don't just look at the increase. Look at your Medicare premiums, your tax situation, your retirement timeline. All of these pieces fit together. And hey, I'd love to hear from you on this. Do you think Social Security will be strong enough for future generations? Or do you feel like the system needs a complete overhaul? Let me know your thoughts down below. At the end of the day, October 15th is more than just a date. It's a reminder that Social Security isn't set in stone. It changes with the economy, with politics, and with time. The best thing you can do is stay informed, stay flexible, and keep planning. And guess what? That kind of steady awareness is what helps you take control instead of feeling blindsided. So stay tuned for the official announcement, keep an eye on your finances, and as always, thanks for spending this time with me today. If you found this helpful, hit that subscribe button and share this with someone you know who might benefit from understanding these changes. Together we can keep each other prepared, one step at a